It's simple. Is Sunday's Bears game against the Cardinals a must-win for Matt Eberflus? Yes or no? Let us know in the comment section down below. And coming up, we got a full Bears versus Cardinals preview here on Chicago Bears Now. I'm Harrison Graham. Bears at Cardinals for Week 9. Cardinals 1.5-point favorites, over-under set at 44.5. So they're basically saying Cardinals 23-21, 23-22, somewhere in that ballpark. Bears are 0-3 as a betting underdog this year. So in other words, 4 games they've won are as favorites. They beat the teams they're supposed to. In the games they're either 50-50 or they're not supposed to. They're 0-3, kind of the story of the last year and a half under Matt Eberflus. You look at the Bears injury report. These are from Thursday, so the Friday injury report has not come out by the time we film this, so keep that in mind. But obviously you got offensive line concerns. Amagaji's already been ruled out, so he's not an option at left tackle. I doubt Braxton Jones plays. Tevin Jenkins, we'll see. He was limited on Wednesday in the walkthrough, DNP on Thursday. I think the Bears are hopeful Montez Sweat will play, but if he does, he definitely won't be 100%. Kyler Gordon, Jaquan Brisker still not practicing. Brisker, that's a concern. Well, I am 99.9% confident Larry Borum will be back and activated with Bill Murray going on IR. We'll see if Ryan Bates does as well, as both those players are in their practice windows eligible to return from short-term IR. Obviously, the story of topic this week was Matt Eberflus. He's been under fire, and for good reason, as he made several questionable coaching decisions in Sunday's loss to Washington regarding the Hail Mary defense, the play before the Hail Mary, not using a timeout, also signing off on that Shane Waldron handoff. And I think even more so than those coaching errors, the lack of admitting to those coaching mistakes. Sure, on Wednesday he said, the way the game ended, that starts with me, but that's a very generic, cliche answer. Like, how about, no, I should have done this or I should have done that? Because on Monday, after reviewing the film, he was like, yeah, we didn't need a timeout. We were set on defense, even though Tyreek Stevenson had his back turned to the play at the snap and was yapping with fans in the crowd. So he's under a lot of pressure to deliver a win, not just for this fan base, but for himself, because let's face it, this is not a good resume up to this point. 14-27 overall. He's 3-17 on the road, 2-10 in the division, which those games are coming soon. And his record against plus 500 teams, which this one wouldn't even count. The Cardinals are exactly 500. 2-16. Not good. Very rarely wins games that he's not expected to win. And how about this shocking flu stat? I said 3-17 on the road, right? 0-17 on the road on a Sunday game. What is this game this week? Sunday on the road. Now, the Bears are 3-0 at State Farm Stadium in Arizona, so something's got to give. You're either going to fall to 0-18 in Sunday road games under this coach, or you're going to improve to 4-0 at State Farm Stadium. Which streak will continue? Which streak will end? We'll find out this Sunday. All right, who has the edge in this matchup with Arizona? Head coach, I'll go push. Jonathan Gannon, I think he's done better than expected there, but I still don't know what he's going to be as a head coach. I would say him and Flus are in the same tier. Solid defensive minds, questionable in terms of if they can be a high-level head coach. Questionable might be strong, to be honest, but I'll put that in the push category. Quarterback, I think you got to lean Arizona here. Kyler's playing pretty well this year, coming off a couple good weeks where they've won 2 games in a row. Obviously, he's had a pretty good career. I think at times he's underwhelmed, but certainly very talented and very capable. I think he's quietly having a pretty good season here. I mean, he's got over 2,000 or just under 2,000 all-purpose yards. He's taking care of the ball. I thought the last couple weeks he played really well. He had a touchdown run against the Chargers a couple weeks ago. That was just incredible. Obviously, Caleb can do a lot of the similar things Kyler can, and you're hoping the ceiling is higher there. But right now, I think you'd have to give Kyler the edge, especially in his home building where Caleb has not played nearly as good on the road as he has at home. All right, who will have the better game on Sunday? Type CW for Caleb Williams, KM for Kyler Murray. Hopefully Caleb starts how he finished last week, which was very, very good in the fourth quarter in Washington, but needs to play better earlier in these games. Skill positions. I'll go push. I think on paper, most people would say that the Bears have the advantage in this regard. But based on how these guys have played this year, I think it's pretty even. And shout out to a new graphic alert here, Cullen killing it here. DeAndre Swift, red hot recently. James Conner, though, been good all year. I think that's similar tier there. DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison Jr. Harrison coming off a couple good weeks, had a strong game last time out. Rome Odunze, Michael Wilson. Wilson, an underrated player. I think when you get to that third receiver, that's definitely advantage Chicago. Keenan Allen or Rome, whoever you would consider the number 3 over Greg Dortch. But Trey McBride is awesome. He has almost 500 yards. Cole Kmet's really good as well. I would say a better blocker, but I think it's pretty even overall. I think Arizona's skill talent is sneaky good. Offensive line, I would go Cardinals. Now, they have a couple of injuries. We'll see on Calvin Beachum. Also, Jonah Williams had his practice window opened this week. We'll see if he's activated as well. Paris Johnson's been solid, but not great. But I think with the Bears' injuries right now and just inconsistent play, I would lean Arizona in this spot. I don't think either team has a great offensive line or even good. They're both in that average to at times below average category, but I think the Bears are more banged up than Arizona, so I will lean Arizona there. Before we continue, today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks, daily fantasy made easy at prizepicks.com/CLNS. The code CLNS gets you a $50 bonus straight into your account once you play for just $5. You can get up to 100 times your entry with as little as 4 correct picks. The way it works is simple. Choose 2 or more players on your lineups. Pick more or less on their stat projections. Maybe you're one of those guys who had some fantasy drafts earlier this season and just didn't draft well, or maybe you've had some injuries. Well, that's where Prize Picks comes in. New lineups every single day that you can play, and it's really simple and really easy. Get signed up today, prizepicks.com/CLNS. The code CLNS gets you a $50 bonus once you play for just $5. Here's an example of an entry I've got going this week. Caleb Williams and Kyler Murray more than on their rushing totals. And listen, the Bears didn't do a great job against Shaden Daniels as he rushed for more than 50 yards last week. So I like Kyler Murray to hit more than 32.5. Caleb Williams more than 23.5. 5 to win 15. And again, for new customers, you get a $50 bonus into your account regardless if you win or lose your first entry. You just got to use our code CLNS. PrizePicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS for the bonus. Pick more, pick less. It's Prize Picks. All right, who has the edge? The defensive line. I think you'd have to say Bears, even though Montez Sweat's banged up. The Cardinals have one of the worst pass rushes in the NFL, so I think just by default it's Bears here, but we'll see what Sweat's status is for Sunday. I would still lean Chicago. Linebackers, definitely Bears. Cardinals don't have that good of a unit here. Their front 7 is kind of lacking. Their back 4, back 5 is better than their front 7, but it's still not great, and I know the Bears are banged up back there. Tyreek Stevenson might be benched. I would still lean Chicago in this spot. They have Budda Baker in Arizona. Other than that, I think the Bears have them beat pretty much across the board. Special teams push. Their kicker, Chad Ryland's inconsistent, but he has a strong leg. He's been better as of late. They also have Dortch's returner, who's really dangerous. So I'll kind of go push there. Rarely does one special teams unit have a massive advantage over the other. And in this case, I don't think there's that big of a gap when it comes to that. All right, subscribe and join us for our Bears-Cardinals live watch party on Sunday. We'll probably go live around 1:45. If you see this thumbnail, you are in the right place, as we will provide live reactions, full pregame. Keep tabs with the noon games as well. And if they lose on another Hail Mary, you think I melted down last week. Stay tuned. Could be an interesting day. We'll have videos leading up to kickoff as well, so lock us in here at Bears Now. All right, let's get to some keys to victory. I think this is going to be my first one until they do it from here on out, moving forward. You got to start faster on offense. It's just a problem. It's a massive, massive problem. 7 opening drives this year, 3 total points. Made a field goal against the Texans in week 2. In week 3, you missed a field goal against the Colts. Otherwise, you've punted every time. I guess the positive is you haven't turned it over yet. But 81 total yards and 7 opening drives. You only have 10 first-quarter points, which is 31st in the NFL. Which, by the way, you know who's last? Little trivia? The Eagles. They have not scored in the first quarter, which is kind of a shocking stat. But still, 31st in total first-quarter points. Not good. got to start faster. It has to get better. Number 2, got to contain Kyler Murray. I think the Bears did a decent-ish job on Jaden Daniels. He didn't have any 30-yard runs, but he extended a couple of drives as the Bears lost contain and took a couple of bad angles. Jaden got loose a few times. And look, that's going to happen with these special athletes at quarterback. Just keep it reasonable, 50 yards or less. Don't have any back-breaking runs. If you can do that, I think that's pretty good. I think offensively too, get the quick game going. Caleb Williams, when he's, you get a couple of completions going over the middle of the field, slants, little option routes, get that initial first down, then get into tempo. It just felt like the Bears could never really get their tempo going last week, and I think that's when he's looked his best so far this year. He's very much a rhythm quarterback right now, and for a young guy, you want to get him into that rhythm, get him comfortable, and it just, by the time they did that in Arizona or in Washington, it wasn't too late because they did take a lead, but you got to get into that quicker in these games. Hopefully they can incorporate some of that early on and just build off of that. Limit James Conner. I think he's the most underrated back in the league. He's physical. He's averaging well over 4 yards per carry. He's 8th in the NFL in rushing. He can catch the ball as well. This is a rare case where he had a good 4-year stretch in Pittsburgh, but he's actually been better in Arizona. I mean, he's been awesome. He's quietly a top 10 back every year, and they're going to use him. He breaks tackles, so you better bring your lunch pail because if you don't, he's going to run you over. And then on the opposite side, feed DeAndre Swift. Obviously a different type of back, more of a shake and bake, want to make you miss in the open field type of player. He'll hurdle you like we saw last week. His last 4 games, I mean, I'd have to add up the all-purpose yardage across the league, but I would guess his over 500 all-purpose yards over the last 4 games, it's got to be top 3 in the NFL among running backs. I mean, he's been spectacular since his dreadful start. He was averaging, you know how bad or how good he's been recently? He was averaging 1.8 yards per carry through 3 weeks. He's above 4 yards per carry now through 7 games. That's how good he's been since those first 3 games. And let's face it, he's your best offensive player right now. Get that guy the ball, 20 touches. I mean, he's just got to be a focal point moving forward. So this is the guy who they brought in. This is the guy who they paid for, and you're seeing that pay off right now. He's on pace to be a 1,000-yard back and potentially a 500-yard receiver. So that's it's pretty damn good. That's a high-level Pro Bowl type of season. So hopefully he can keep up this pace and can continue to provide fireworks for this offense. So there you have it. Who has the edge? Keys to victory, injury report, the focal point around Matt Eberflus as he is under fire. Bears, Cardinals. Cardinals a slight favorite at home as we are filming this. Get those score predictions in. Who you got and what is the final score going to be as the Bears visit Arizona? You're probably not going to like what I have to say, but I said it after they lost against Washington. There's no way I could pick this team to win on the road against Arizona. I'm going Cardinals 21-20. I hope I'm wrong. Hope this is a reverse jinx type of situation. It worked against the Rams when I picked against them, so hopefully it happens again here. But 0-17 on the road on Sundays under Matt Eberflus. Please don't fall to 0-18.